Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. Cell phone theft. You know, I'm not talking about somebody actually stealing a cell phone. No, what I'm talking about is something a little subtle. Couple things going on. One I think I've touched on before. Can you imagine this scenario? You go to the gas station, first day of the month, you fill up your tank. You don't drive that much that month. So you go back the next month, first of the month, and you go to fill up the tank, and they go, oh, wait a minute. We're going to drain the tank, and then you're going to have to buy all new gas. Think you'd be wanting to shoot somebody. Well, you see, that's what happens with cell phone and data. See, at the beginning of the month, they fill up your tank. But at the end of the month, if you don't use it all, you lose it. There's something wrong with that. Like I said, I know I've touched on that before because they could charge you by the byte, not the kilobyte or the megabyte or the gigabyte, but they could actually charge you by the byte because that's how close, how accurate their record keeping is. But they don't. That's something that needs to be fixed. Second thing. This is where it really gets interesting. If you're using your cell phone and you're paying for your data, and then all of a sudden a pop-up ad comes across, they're stealing your data. You didn't ask for that ad. I mean, I hate those floating ads. You move it, they keep floating, and you try and tap them to X them out, and they don't go out all the time. I hate those. But I realize they're stealing my data. I didn't ask for that stuff to be transmitted. It's costing me money. That's not right. Third thing, all those apps that are on the phone that I didn't put there, that I don't want, they're stealing data. They're running Slacker radio. I don't use my phone for radio. If I want to listen to radio, I'll listen to a radio. And there's all these other little ones. I mean, I've got the YouTube app, but I hardly ever use it on my phone. But every now and then when I go to kill active apps, there's YouTube sucking my data. And there's a whole bunch of them. You see, we as a nation, I mean, especially the young people, we're almost addicted, or they're almost addicted to these cell phones. I mean, they're a tool. They have their place. Some people use them as a toy. But the thing is that these cell phone providers, they're stealing our money by stealing our data, our gigabytes, our bandwidth. I mean, it's really something to think about. And I've been on the warpath against Verizon. I mean, I've been a Verizon customer since 1999. For the most part, I'm happy with the service. But ever since I got this smartphone about a year ago, because see, out here in the country, that's the only way I can get the internet. I mean, yeah, I could do dish, but a satellite dish, but it's a 2-second delay. And here where I live, it's more of a hassle. My neighbor has it and he hates it. So at least with the cell phone, the reception's pretty good. I usually get 2 or 3 bars. Doesn't cut out too often. So it's pretty reliable. Like I said, I'm happy with that part of Verizon. But their record keeping, their presentation, and their discrepancies are just ridiculous. I mean, I look on my cell phone and it says, you've used this much data. I go to the computer and it tells me something different. It's just like, no. They should all say the same. And then they try these, you know, I call them the spiky-haired kids. You get some young dude in his 20s on the phone, you know he's probably got gel and spiky hair. And he's trying to tell me this, that, or the other thing. I go, look, you can't fool me. You can't BS me. I know this stuff. You know what computers it's either right or you got to fix it. You can't BS your way through it. It just doesn't. Obamacare proved that. See, if it ain't right, it don't work. You can't BS it. You can't finesse it. You can't finagle it. But Verizon, you guys really need to wake up and learn how to present the data properly. Hey, I've even offered, hire me for a month or so. I can straighten it out. Can you imagine? I think I've done this before. If your gas tank went from empty to full, that don't make sense. Showing you how much you've used, but the opposite way, as opposed to how much you have left. You go, hey, how much gas is in the tank? Oh, I got a quarter of a tank. It doesn't. You don't say, well, I've used 3/4 of a tank. That's backwards. But that's what happens. You see on these cell phones. They'll tell you you've used 3/4 of a tank. Doesn't tell you got a quarter of a tank left. I mean, it's the same thing but reverse. It's just not natural. Why they do that, I don't know. And then they'll say, well, you've used X over Y. Well, why don't you tell me what the percent of X over Y is? If it's 2 over 3, I'd like to know I've used 66%. Or that I've got, 34% left. It's just simple things like that. They just can't seem to get right. But the main point of this video is that, we the people need to stand up and scream and say, hey, quit stealing our data. If we pay for it, we want to use it. They call it rollover. It should be like just like your gas tank. It's like, okay, you can buy, a gigabyte or 2 gigabytes, and then when it's over, bam, automatically you get a full tank and you keep on cruising. I mean, what's so hard about that? Think about it. It can't be that hard. I mean, really. You just automatic in the system. When you get to that certain point, maybe you could say, when I get down to my last gigabyte or my last, 10 megabytes, fill up my tank again. And then boom, automatically, and that's what goes on your bill. So if you filled up with 4 gigabytes and you only use 2 gigabytes 1 month, well then when you're paying for your cell phone bill, then you wouldn't have that gigabyte charge on it. You see, that's the way it should be. I don't know if it's going to take an act of Congress to fix it. Maybe if enough people see this video, maybe this could go viral around the world and everybody starts screaming at the cell phone companies, then maybe, just maybe, we get it done. So let me know what you think. And once again, I appreciate everybody watching and listening and your comments, your kind words. I really do enjoy it. And it motivates me to keep making these videos. And I know some people like to laugh at me, but that's okay. Some people laugh with me, some people laugh at me. It's just the way it goes. So Verizon and the rest of you guys, let's get it right. What is it? Let's unite. Let's not fight. Let's get the money right. Let's get that money right. Keep it in our pockets, not yours. TheRumpledOne signing off.